Hello, and welcome to Stitching Across the Smokies. My name is Tanya, and I invite you to join me in my stitching neck of the woods. Since this is my first Flosstube video, I want to tell you just a little bit about myself and my stitching journey thus far. I live in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. I am a single parent of 2 grown children, Jessica and Diego. I also have 2 beautiful, wonderful cats by the name of Benjamin and Oscar. Benjamin, of which you may hear at some point at the door outside the craft room meowing. He is a talker, and he feels like if I'm talking, I should be talking to him, giving him that attention. So I apologize for that ahead of time. I started stitching when I was a freshman in college. I completed a couple of projects, got them fully finished, gave them as a gift to my mother, I believe for Mother's Day. After that point, I kind of put it down probably until about 2019 when I picked it up again, just before COVID hit. And I had pretty much been stitching nonstop since that time. Not every day, but almost every day. I wanted to start this YouTube channel to put myself out there. I'm somewhat of an introvert, and so I thought this would be a way to get me out of that comfort zone and maybe put myself out there more and engage more with the stitching community. Hopefully get some communication between myself and you guys out there, and hopefully maybe form some friendships. So I do have some notes down here so that if you see me looking down, I apologize. But I wanted to write everything down to make sure I didn't miss anything. And hopefully I won't say the word too much, because in my practice video, if I had $1 for every time I said I could probably go ahead and retire. But anyway, we'll get on with it. All right. So I thought I'd start out with showing you the whips that I have in my current rotation. And my rotation is based on one that I saw Brian from Blitz Stitch using. Of course, I tweaked it and made it my own. And in my rotation, I have 8 categories. And those categories are heights, large full coverage, medium full coverage, medium size, samplers, smalls, chatelaines, and holiday seasonal. And what I do is each week I rotate through those categories, with the exception of the first week of each month. The first week of each month is dedicated to the Haid category. And what I do there is, in that category, I currently have 4 whips that I rotate through, 1 a month, and then I start, back over at the beginning of the rotation. And so the other 3 weeks of the month, I rotate through the other 7 categories. So my stitching during the week consists of my rotation, which I stitch on whatever that project is for the week on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do what I'm calling Stitchopoly stitching, which is based on the Monopoly game that Jen the Caffeinated Stitcher and Sisky Stitches started. I've tweaked it and made it just a little bit, more suitable for my style of stitching. I've even got some crochet projects thrown in the mix. And then on Saturdays, I have started doing football stitching. And, well, mine's actually college football stitching, but it's based on the gridiron stitching that Kim Hollenbeck has started. Only mine, obviously, is college stitching. Mine, being in East Tennessee, is based on following the University of Tennessee Vols. So I have a couple of projects that I have for that stitching. For the Vols, that project would be my largest project that has the most stitches to go. And then for the opposing team, whoever they're playing, would be the project I have that is closest to a finish. And I will show you those as we go through my whips. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking about my whips. in addition to my rotation stitching, my Stitchopoly, and my college football stitching, I do a one strand a day project. And every day, the first thing I stitch on is whatever that project is, and I happen to currently have 2 in that mix that I stitch on, and I will stitch 1 strand on that project every day before I do any other stitching, and then I move on to whatever I'm stitching on that day, and I'll show you those projects as well. Okay, so let's get into my whips. So the first whips in my rotation are my hates, and I currently have 4 that are in my active rotation. And the first one is Seahorses from Heaven and Earth Design, and the artwork is by Renee by Timfell. I apologize. I know I'm mispronouncing that. But I will pop a picture up here of what it will look like when it's finished. And this is where I am currently on this piece. And I will apologize ahead of time. I do not iron a piece unless it's finished. And as you can see, I park threads. I apologize if it drives you crazy, but there for a while I was real big into parking threads, and so you will see that on a lot of my projects. Getting away from that, but that takes time. But this is Seahorses, and I'm finally, this is the Haid that I have with the most progress on it, and I didn't think to write down the percentages. This is stitched on 18 count cream Aida, and like I said, this one I have the most progress on, and I'm finally getting down to some of the good stuff. As you can kind of see there, right about here, I am finally getting to, I believe, the first like clam. But I really enjoy this project. All right, so that was Seahorses. My next Haid is 2 dancing peacocks, and that artwork is by Oleg Graveroviv, and I know I'm butchering that really badly, and I apologize. But I will pop a picture up here of what it will look like when it's finished. And this is what it looks like right now. And again, I apologize for the threads. This is, if I don't know the fabric and count of all my projects because I didn't really start tracking that until more recently, but on the ones I do know, I will share. So this is on 18 count Aida cream again. And I'm really enjoying this one. I do look forward to getting to the actual peacocks in the picture. I do love peacocks. I love the colors in a peacock. In fact, I've got several rooms in my house that have that peacock theme with the jewel tones that I just love, especially at Christmas. All right, on to my next one. So the next one is London. And this artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. And I will pop a picture up here of what it will look like when it's finished. Just a little bit about this one. I started this one. My children and I went on a trip to London, Scotland, and Paris, probably about 4 years ago now. And so I've slowly but surely been buying and collecting more patterns that are London, Scotland, and Paris related. you'll notice this, a theme as you see some of my projects. But anyway, so this is where I am at the moment on this one. And I love this one. I love all of them actually. But I'm excited to get to really some of the gray steps. But as you can see, that's the pub right there that's coming into focus there. And then my last Haid in my rotation is Her Majesty. Again, the theme with Europe. When we went on our trip to London, we went for the Jubilee, and we actually were able to see the Queen, and of course that was just a few short months before she passed, so we were all really thankful and blessed that we were able to go. But anyway, I'll pop a picture up here of what it will look like when it's finished. And this chart design was by Michelle. It's a Haid. And this is where I am with this one. And as you will see, I started out doing this one with the typewriter method that Stitching Mommy uses. But I kind of got bored with that, and I moved back to my diagonal stitching. And of course, just like the others, as I'm getting to them, I'm working in some of these threads so that I don't have hanging threads anymore. And I'm not sure what this fabric is. I believe it is 18 count 8 as well. White, off-white. Okay. So my next category in my rotation would be medium full coverage. And that piece is Cooler Designs Night Before Christmas. And this is what it will look like when it's finished. And this was designed by Sandy Orton. There's a lot of people stitching these holiday themed ones from Cooler Design. And this one is on 16 count Aida cream. And I really do apologize for the threads on this one. This one is kind of like all over the place. But this one just moved into my rotation. I had a piece that I completed, so this one moved up. So hopefully some of those strands will get worked in very soon. But here I am with this one so far. Then my next one is, sorry if I'm leaning over this way, I've got a table here that I'm laying these on when I get done. Next one is my medium category, and my project for that one is Wizard, and it is a Design Works kit, and it was designed by Joan Elliott. This is what it will look like when it's finished. And this one is stitched on whatever came in the kit. I'm not sure what it was. It's 14 count. That's the color, but it's probably just white, off-white. And this is where I am with him so far. Okay, I'm starting to get there. I tend not to have a lot of finishes because a lot of my projects are bigger ones, but I am getting close on some, so that feels really good. So here's a closer view of him. And again, I apologize for the strands of floss. So that was Wizard. My next category is samplers, and for samplers I am doing stitching on Opening Gambit by Long Dog Samplers, and I will pop a picture up here of what it will look like when it's finished. This one I am stitching on 14 count Aida off-white, and this is where I am currently. I'm doing mine in shades of purple. This is DMC thread. As you can see, I'm doing the dark purple for some of the bigger objects, the triangles, the balloon, and I believe there's a couple other things down below that will be the dark purple as well. Any animals, insects, anything of that nature is done in the light purple, and then everything else is in the variegated. But this is where I am right now. All right. Next up, we have smalls. And I recently just started this Tiny Town series by Heart and Hand. So this is the one I'm working on currently. Seaside Tiny Town. I love the beach. My goal when I retire is to move somewhere close to the beach. And this one is on 14 count natural Aida, just store-bought, which a lot of mine are. I do have projects that are on. I am a member of the Stitchin Club and their monthly fabric club, and I do have a lot of projects on those. They're just not in my current rotation. This is where I am with this one. My next category is chatelaines. The chatelaine that I'm currently working on, that I have closest to finish, that is in this rotation, is Frosty Knot Garden. I will post a picture here of what it will look like when it's finished. And I am not sure what the fabric count is. I know it's an Aida and it's cream. But this is where I am with it right now. I'm on the next to the last outer band of this one. So that's great. I haven't done any beading, but I'm doing all the cross stitches and the specialty stitches as I go along. Do a closer view. I do have 2 or 3 other chatelaines that I would like to purchase, that I'm looking into kitting up, that I would like to start in the future. I really enjoy this. I think it's beautiful. All right. And then my last category is holiday seasonal. And this category is, sorry, I had them out of order. Kringles by Little House Needleworks. That's what it will look like when it's finished. And I don't have written down what the fabric is I'm using for this. I know it's Aida. It's not white. It's kind of like a tannish color, like a pale beige or something. But this is where I am on this one. And this one's getting pretty close to a finish on it. I just have 2 more sections to go on it. I'd like to have this done by this Christmas. Not sure if I'll make it. Just depends on how many more times it comes into the rotation. And this will be the piece after, since this is first week of the month for September, it'll be a Haid, but then next week this will come out for 4 days. All right, and then I had talked about my 1 strand a day. I just completed August, which I was stitching on Candy Cane Santa, and this is a Dimensions Go collection. And this is designed by Donna Race. And it is stitched on, sorry, I have it written down here somewhere. yeah, sorry, 16 count dove gray is what this one was stitched on. And this is where I am on him. Getting close to halfway finished with him. It's amazing how just doing one strand a day, how much progress you will get on some of these projects. He's probably about 43% done at this point. He's looking really good. And then my new strand, one strand a day, starting today, will be Maggie the Messmaker, which is another Dimensions Gold Collection kit. And this one is designed by, or the art based on artwork by Charles Wazaki. And it is on 18 count Ada in the color beige. Trying to wrangle these threads here a little bit so you can actually see. Again, as you know, parking even on these, but I am getting them worked in. So this is where I will be starting at today with this one. And then finally, I see all these beautiful fabrics that people dye and they turn out wonderful. And I've always wanted to try my hand at it. And I have a secret stitch that I wanted to do. And so I wanted something a little spooky, little Halloween-y looking. So I thought I would try my hand at stitching, or excuse me, at dyeing some fabric. And so this is how it turned out. And I'm very happy with it. It's beautiful. It does look spooky. It looks like the night sky. It's maybe just a little bit darker than what I was going for, but it will work. But I'm tickled that it came out, which makes me want to try my hand at dyeing some more. This is 14 count Ada, or it was until I dyed it. Now it's a little bit smaller, I believe. So anyway, those are the projects that I have in my current rotation. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you like and subscribe. Going forward, I would probably like to do a video, maybe we'll try every couple of weeks. We'll see how many different projects I get to stitch on in that length of time. I would also like to do a whip parade and show you all my projects, which, you know, would cover a lot of the projects that I have on my Stitchopoly board, as well as the football stitching, because I didn't show you the piece that I'm working on for the posing team. But I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.